All right, thank you to everyone joining us today for our second episode of Student Voice, where we speak to students, leaders, and the community about issues we face as a district when it comes to racism, hate, and discrimination. Today's topic is on LGBTQ Pride Month, which is recognized by the Elk Grove Unified School District Board of Education as being celebrated throughout the month of June. Joining me in today's discussion is Tammy Silvera, a program specialist here at Elk Grove Unified School District's Department of Student Support and Health Services. Specifically, Tammy runs the Youth Development Office. We also have 3 student leaders that will participate in our discussion that are also very active on their campuses. We have Hope Brazier, an incoming 11th grade student at Sheldon High School, who is the GSA president on campus. We also have Ann Nguyen, also an incoming 11th grade student from Sheldon High School, who is the GSA secretary on campus. And Kaden Swan, an incoming senior from Pleasant Grove High School, who is the co-president of GSA on campus. Thank you for joining us. Before we get started with the questions, Tammy, could you please give us more information about the GSA, what it stands for, and why it's offered on our campuses?
Sure can. So our office, the Youth Development Office, received funding from Kaiser Permanente's Community Benefits Program to coordinate a number of activities to support our LGBTQ students, staff, and families. And this included training and financial support for GSA programs. Historically, GSAs have been known as gay straight alliances, but the name has transitioned to also be called gender sexuality alliances. And some of our schools might call their GSAs a pride club or give it their own name. It's a student club that provides a safe place for students to meet and support each other, work towards increasing understanding and inclusion of LGBTQ youth on their campus. And over the past year and a half, we've been able to build our GSAs so that now all of our Elk Grove Unified middle and high schools have an active GSA on campus.
Wow, that's great. Thank you so much, Tammy, for that helpful background information before we get started with our discussion. So now we're going to ask Hope, Ann, and Kaden each of the following questions. We'll start with Hope, then Ann, and wrap up that question with Kaden providing his responses. And if you could Hope, if you could please answer the first question. What does pride mean to you?
To me, pride is like, I love who I am, and I love the community that LGBTQ people have, and no one can take that away from me because I am who I am, and that's completely okay with me.
Great. And if you could please provide this response to the same question. What does pride mean to you?
Well, pride means being proud of yourself, but also knowing that others don't have the same privilege of being where you are, and you can be there for others who need support.
Thank you. And Kaden.
So I definitely agree with what Ann and Hope said. It's time for celebration. It's time to be prideful in who you are. But I also think it's a time to be reflective, to look back and understand where we came from. Understand that the first Pride wasn't a big party, it wasn't a big parade, it was actually a Black trans woman throwing the first brick. And that's what we got to remember. And today, Black trans women are in our community the least represented and the least protected. So we need to understand and reflect on who we are and understand who we need to protect. And that's what Pride, and that's what it can do during this time.
Wow, thank you so much to all 3 of you guys for providing great definitions of what pride means to each of you. Tammy?
So how have you all been handling the changes in our society since schools closed in March with the COVID-19 pandemic? And I'll let, I think it's Ann, are you next?
Yes. I've been able to grow as a person through these difficult changes in our society. I just recently created a podcast called Friends Around the World, which talks about the positive changes happening around the world. I've also had the ability to clear up my mind and just relax. And I've been able to focus on my future careers. Personally, the changes have allowed me to reflect on myself and inspire to adventure out and help others.
And I believe Caden.
Yeah, so recently I've been able to take part in a lot of the marches going on regarding Black Lives Matter, and it's especially important for us in the LGBTQ plus community to be able to stand with our brothers and sisters and show them that we are here for them. I've also been able to take part, my GSA is doing online meetings for a lot of kids because, this is our GSAs are some of their only support that they have on campus. So it's very important for us to be there for them, to be there to listen to them. So that's what we've been doing.
Great.
Yeah, for me, I have been trying to educate myself more about the whole Black Lives Matter movement and signing petitions, posting all over social media, just to give support to this community. And yeah, it's been really awesome to see so many people rally around and create change.
Thank you all for those comments. And Sandeep, you have the next question?
I do. And Caden, we're going to start with you because it kind of ties into what you just said. So what does GSA mean for your campus and students? And Caden, you mentioned having virtual meetings to provide a support for the students on your campus. So answer this question, but also tie in that example and how it supports and what it means for the students at Pleasant Grove High School.
So specifically for our students in our GSA, I think it's a safe space. Like I said before, a lot of these kids don't have support at home, and their only support is coming from their teachers. And that was taken away on March 7th. And it is so important for these kids to have these meetings, to be able to have this discussion, have a safe space, have somewhere where they can be themselves, even if it's for an hour on a Zoom call. That is so important for them. But I think more, if we look broader, I think on campus, our GSA can stand as a place of student unity. PG recently we had a hate crime that happened on campus, and with MSA leading the Muslim Student Association, they took charge, and the GSA we were there to be able to work with them. We were able to put together a march that was able to work for all students. And I think, so for our kids that are in our GSA, it's a safe space. It's somewhere for them to be themselves. But I think GSA as a whole, outside of our group, it stands as an area for unity where we can build off of something.
Thank you, Caden, so much for that. And Hope, if you could provide us with a little bit of information of how, what GSA means for students at Sheldon High School.
I think for the students in the club, I think it really is a safe space. And I know we are all so close, like all the officers and all the people in the club, we're all so close and we are really a family. And, when we put posters up, sometimes they get ripped down, but we don't let that stop us, and we keep going and we keep having events. And we are really supported for the most part by our campus and by all the staff members, which is really awesome.
Yeah, that is really awesome to hear. And do you have anything else you would like to add to what Hope just said?
Yeah. So for me, GSA means like a place of safety and accomplishment. It's a reminder that this is a place for students and adults to feel safe, and a reminder that decades ago this wasn't possible, and that we are on the backs of giants. And Hope said, GSA is like a second family, and I feel like it makes the campus a more positive and safe place.
Thank you for that, all three of you. Tammy?
We'll let Hope start this one off. How do you hope to continue advocacy for the LGBTQ plus students when you're in school next year?
Well, with everything, up in the air right now about what's going to happen with next year, I've been thinking about some ideas that I might want to do if we are able to get back on campus. And I've been talking with our vice president at Sheldon, and we had this idea to have a dance, like an LGBTQ plus and ally dance for the whole district if we're able to do that. So yeah, we've been talking with our advisor to see maybe we could get that going. So yeah, we've been talking about that.
Great. Caden, how about you?
Well, first off, Hope, hit me up about that because I would definitely be down to help have PG get involved in helping with that. But what my GSA, especially what I want to look into, is looking and reevaluating our health curriculum and making it more suitable for LGBTQ plus students. I don't think it's safe that a lot of LGBTQ plus students are going to the internet to find out about a lot of information regarding their health. And I think that if we had a teacher teaching in class, we would have safer students and a safer EGUSD that works for all students.
That is awesome. Yeah. And I know changes are coming, so that's great to hear.
Yes, that's what we like to hear.
Yeah. Anne, how about you?
I hope to educate and inspire students to stand against hate. I want them to stand against hate. It was Islamic, transphobic, or homophobia. I just want them to be their true selves and to spread kindness. So I hope that our GSA talks to the other clubs, like the Christian club or the Catholic club on campus, and to communicate with them, and so that our campus could be a more welcoming and safe place.
Thank you all.
Okay, so I have the next question, and we'll start with Anne. So what can your peers do to support you and make you feel included and safe at school? So, and not just you as an individual, but you and your fellow club members of GSA.
Oh, can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Yeah, so what can your peers do to support you and your fellow GSA members to make you feel included and safe on campus?
Personally, I feel like we could meet like more often so that we can always like communicate with each other and become close friends, so that when I get sad or something or something's wrong, I can always fall back onto them and they can always help me.
Thank you. Caden?
Well, I think just like it's the little things that count, especially when it comes to LGBTQ plus students. You know, just a little sticker on your door that says everyone is safe and welcome here. I've seen those a lot around PG, and those little stickers can actually, you know, you wouldn't think of it, it could save somebody's life. It makes them feel that they are safe at school. It makes them feel that I can go up to this teacher and tell them what's going on in my life and I can feel protected. So I think it's definitely for teachers and especially staff, administrators, they need to understand that it's the little things that they can do. It's just putting up a little sign, putting up a flag. It can be a lot of help to students.
Thank you for that suggestion. Hope?
I completely agree. Like when I see teachers who have signs or stickers on their doors, I know, like I take note of it and I'm like, wow, that teacher is really amazing. And when we have like fundraisers, and I'll ask like my teachers and prior teachers that I've had if I can put posters up in their room, and they're so supportive. And like I'll ask around like within my friend group, and they're always so supportive. So it's just, yeah, it is really the little things that make you feel like you are supported.
Thank you. Tammy?
So you've addressed this a little bit in some of what you've already shared, but is there more that you feel that LGBTQ students need to feel safe and included at school? And if so, if you feel that's needed, what other programs and activities or services, or even like you said, the little things, could we be doing better at to support your community? And I think we're starting with Caden on this one, if I have that right.
Okay, so definitely within the community, I could see, you know, we talked about the health curriculum, getting that changed. That's a step in making students feel safe, feeling accepted on campus. And then if we continue to go further, like I said, the little things, getting more teachers to have those stickers on their doors, having more pride flags seen around campus. And, you know, third, having more student unity on campus, having our groups get together, having the BSU, a little bit Ann touched on it, getting the Christian groups involved. And we need to have all these different groups coming together on campus. So when there's problems, we can all come together and be, no, someone didn't just hurt GSA, they hurt all of us, because we're united in the fact that we go to the same school and we have the same issues.
Wonderful. That's a really valid point. Anne, how about you?
I feel like we could add some LGBT history to the history classes, so that students know that they are standing on the backs of giants and that they are not alone, and there are people out there that could help them.
Great suggestion. Hope?
You know, I have also talked to the GSA advisor at Sheldon about changing the health curriculum because, like, it really is like we don't really see things that we need to know and that we should learn in those classes, which I think like Kaden said, taking to the internet for that kind of stuff really isn't the safest thing to do. So I think really important is to change the health curriculum so everyone gets something that they need out of it.
Great.
And I think Ann touched on it. He brought up about history. And I think that is so important to be teaching the history of the LGBTQ plus community because there's so much there. Teaching about Stonewall, teaching about Marsha B. Johnson, that could be so much for a kid in their journey of coming out or understanding that they need to accept themselves. And I think that would be so important.
Really good points. We often hear that our textbooks and our curriculum need to be both mirrors and windows for you all to see your community, and then mirrors so that you can see yourself in what you read and what you learn. That's really, really important. Great points. Sandeep?
Thank you, Tammy, and thank you to you, Hope and Kaden, for joining us during summer break to talk about Pride Month and what else we all can do to support students in the LGBTQI plus community. And thank you for everyone that watched this episode of Student Voice.